Hi there, this is Chris, Chaplain Cap Motor Legends. Today I'm going to be talking about a new adventure style suit from the French brand Bering. It's a suit called the Freeway suit. Bering, let's face it, is not the first name that comes to mind when we're talking about adventure riding gear, or indeed when we're talking about any kind of technical motorcycle clothing. There's nothing wrong with Bering's quality, and the brand's pricing is normally very reasonable. But here at Motor Legends, we are not short of product in this sector, in other words, in the adventure sector. With brands like Halvarssons, Rucker, Klim and Held, we can normally meet most of our customers' needs. But when we first saw the Freeway, when it was presented to us initially by the importer, we did kind of fall for it. But before we go further, let's discuss the elephant in the room. When we're talking about adventure gear, the conversation will normally tend us towards gear that comes with a laminated membrane or with a removable membrane. And that's because adventure outfits are about riding off-road where you could be working up a sweat, or about riding somewhere really, really warm. Outfits with laminated membranes are going to breathe better because you get direct to body ventilation. You open the vent, there's no membrane behind it, so the air is going to come straight through to the body. And of course, in 4 or 5 hours riding in the rain, a laminated outfit is not going to wet out. Clothing where the membrane is removable, of course, is going to breathe even better. And so adventure suits like this with a drop liner membrane might be considered to be somewhat lacking. They're not going to breathe particularly well because when you open the vent, there's still a membrane behind it. And in prolonged rain, so if you find yourself in the rain for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, a garment like this is going to eventually wet out. But an adventure suit with a drop liner membrane is going to be more comfortable to wear, it's going to be warmer to wear, and on a pari passu basis, it is going to be less expensive. So if you ride a lot off-road, or often find yourself riding in temperatures, I don't know, of 30 degrees plus, something laminated or something with a removable waterproof membrane may be advantageous. But most riders don't go off-road, and so for many, a drop liner suit like this makes much more sense. There is, of course, a current obsession with laminated gear. People believe that it's the only way of staying dry, which of course is nonsense. The truth, however, is that 90% of motorcyclists don't need a laminated suit. Most people would be better off with something like the Freeway, a drop liner garment like the Freeway. Anyway, let's talk now about the suit in a little bit more detail. The look of the Freeway is pure adventure, although even the cheapest budget brands do that look really well these days. The look, or that look, it's basically a mid-length jacket. You've got lots of pockets, some lower bellows pockets, some pockets up high. You've got lots of vents, and you will normally have a central waist adjuster. These outfits will inevitably come in an array of adventure-looking colours. So there'll be greys and blues, and there'll be browns and greens. One of the things that we really liked about the Freeway when we first came across it was its fabric. It's a combination of this grey material. It's something like a cavalry twill. It feels really luxurious, far nicer than you would expect to find on a motorcycle jacket. And this cavalry twill fabric is interspersed with areas of soft shell for comfort. Soft shell is a very stretchy, very soft material. The result is a jacket that's about as comfortable as any we've ever come across. In some ways, even though it's a different looking jacket, the Freeway reminds us of the Halvarssons Wien that for many years we considered to be the perfect jacket for 90% of motorcyclists. That was until Halvarssons discontinued it. The jacket comes with level 1 armour in the elbows and the shoulders. You've got a pocket for a back protector, but that doesn't come as standard. Now, the jacket has a removable thermal liner, but whilst it does a job, frankly, like many of those liners, it's not particularly up to much. What we would do, we'd remove it, we'd put it in a drawer, and probably replace it with some kind of down jacket. A down jacket's going to be warmer, it's going to be more comfortable, it'll be much more wearable off the bike. And what's more, if you're wearing a down jacket, you'll never have to wrestle with all those poppers and zips and so on. There's lots of pleasing detail on the Freeway jacket. One of the things that we really like is something called a magneto zip. In essence, the main zip is magnetized. So you offer the two halves together, you hear them click, and then you just have to pull the zip up. Saves all that time that we spend trying to slot one half into the other. Once there's some muscle memory involved, once you've got used to the system, it's really easy to use. Here on the chest, we've got 2 vents. Now, I'll come on later, these vents are also pockets, but what Bering have come up with is a really clever system. You open the vents or the zips, and then these straps come out. It enables you to hold the vents open to make sure that air does go through them. You've also got here, at the end of the sleeve, you've got a two-way zip. When you lower that zip from the top, that also becomes a vent to allow air to go up the sleeves. Across the back of the jacket, you've got a big vent for air to exhaust out of the jacket. Now, everybody talks about the benefits of direct-to-body venting on a laminated jacket. Indeed, we have done that already. But there is a downside to direct-to-body venting. If you're riding in heavy rain and you leave a zip open just a quarter of an inch, or if the zip fails, water is going to get through that zip and go straight through to the body. You will very quickly feel wet. But that doesn't happen with a drop liner jacket or a jacket like the Freeway. And that's because if any rain were to find its way through the zip, it's still got to negotiate a waterproof membrane. That's never going to be a lot of water, but you are never going to feel wet. The zips at the end of the cuff here, we've said already that they're vents, but they also enable the sleeve of the jacket, the cuff of the jacket to open up to enable you to get the cuff of a glove into the end of the sleeve. What you would then do obviously is you pull the zip down and then you'll cinch it tight with the Velcro strap. Here on the side of the jacket, we've got a couple of zips at the hem that are just going to enable the jacket to splay a little bit when you sit on the bike. Down the front of the jacket, you've got a storm flap. There's a storm flap inside the zip as well. Basically, even though the main zip is not waterproof, water's not going to be coming through these zips. On the arms, you get volume adjusters on the basis that in the summer you might be wearing nothing underneath it. In the winter, you might be wearing something inside the jacket. You want a little bit more volume in the sleeves. There's a neat belt arrangement at the waist here, and again that works on the same basis. In the summer you might want to cinch it tight because you've got nothing inside, you might just have a thin base layer. In the winter, if you've got something like a down jacket on, you might want to release it to enable you to get more volume into the jacket. Pockets are very much part of the adventure look. I think I've mentioned that already. Well, with this jacket we've got two pockets here. Mentioned that they are vents as well. We've got two pockets here. We've got a pocket here on the sleeve, and we've got a great big document pocket across the back of the jacket. There are two pockets on the inside, one in the lining of the jacket, one in the thermal. If you're wearing your own thermal, probably that thermal's going to have its own pockets anyway. Here at the neck, you've got a fantastic removable neck collar. It fastens here at the front with Velcro, but also with poppers. To remove the zip itself or to remove the collar itself, there are a couple of zips on either side. Finally, as you would expect on a jacket like this, you've got a zip to connect the jacket to the matching Freeway pants. So let's take a couple of seconds. Let's talk about the pants. As is usually the case with a technical suit, the pants of the Freeway pretty much mirror the jacket in most respects in terms of construction and design. So you get the same fabric mix, you've got the same lovely soft cavalry twill interspersed with areas of soft shell. You've got level 1 armour in the knees and the hips. You've got vents here on the thighs. You've got a very neat elasticated waist belt arrangement. You've got more than enough pockets, and you've got zips that come up the back of the trousers to enable them to go over a boot. But there is an issue here. This is a pretty narrow leg. Now, you can get these pants over very easily over a short boot. You might be able to get them over some kind of touring boot, but there's not a chance in hell that they're going to go over a proper off-road boot with clips. And I suppose this reinforces our view that this is not really a proper adventure suit for riding off-road. This is just an adventure look. One thing you don't get with the pants is a thermal liner, not a big deal for us. You do get a thermal liner with the jacket, but you don't with the pants. There is, however, an issue with these pants, as there is with every single pair of Bering pants we've ever come across. They only come in one leg length. And what that means is that they are only going to work on about 50% of motorcyclists. Now, the truth is that we are all proportioned differently. So some of us have short torsos and long legs. Some of us have short legs and long torsos. But I think with these pants, if you are over about 5'11" or much below 5'7", they're just not going to work with you. Now, Bering has developed this slightly cockamamie system that if the pants are too long, you can fold them up and they will Velcro in place on the inside of the leg. I suppose it kind of works, but frankly, in the 21st century, we shouldn't be having to resort to DIY remedies to make a pair of motorcycle pants fit properly. The importer, as you might expect, talks very highly of Bering products, about the reliability of Bering's products. And in our experience, he's pretty right. Their products work. We almost never have issues with the Bering products we sell. But until they sort their pants out, I don't think that anyone's going to take the brand particularly seriously, I suppose, at the serious end of the market. Bering, it has to be said, in some ways is not really a Moto Legends kind of brand, but we like the Freeway jacket. Has to be said that a laminated suit simply is not a necessary accessory for riding an adventure bike. And for most people who ride an adventure bike on the road, a jacket like the Freeway will be more than up to the job. It's going to be much easier to live with, much nicer to live with. It looks right, it's comfortable, it's got all the bits that you would want, it's got all the bits that you would expect. Now, if the Freeway pants work for you, then you've got yourself a very fine suit. But what we are seeing is a greater propensity these days for people to wear a technical jacket, so a jacket like this, a waterproof jacket, on top of, or rather above, a pair of protective jeans. On one level, that might seem a little bit illogical because you're going out for a ride and you've got a waterproof jacket, but you don't have any waterproofing on the bottom half. But it's a combination that works well for a number of reasons. First is that it's more important to keep the core warm and dry. If they are, you'll be pumping warm blood around the body to the limbs and the other extremities. And a jacket with a membrane will enable our core to stay warm whether it's dry or not. In some ways, it has to be acknowledged that our legs kind of just come along for the ride. If they do sometimes get a bit cold, well, that's not always the end of the world. Sometimes, of course, our legs are protected from the oncoming wind, from the wind chill factor by a fairing or by the tank, and sometimes our legs benefit from the heat of the engine. Obviously, if it rains, you're going to need to stop and put a pair of Scots on or a pair of waterproofs. But one thing that we always point out to customers who come and visit us here in the shop is it does not rain all the time. One of the main reasons that we're seeing riders preferring to wear a technical jacket over a pair of jeans is that you can take the jacket off when you reach your destination. So you arrive at your destination, you take the jacket off, you put it in a top box or a pannier, meaning that you can then, however long you're stopped, you can walk around like a normal human being. You're not encumbered by this heavy suit with its membrane, its thermal liner and armour and so on. You can't, however, do the same with a pair of technical trousers. Put on a pair of technical trousers in the morning and you'll be wearing them all day. So if you stop somewhere, want to go into a cafe, into a shop or walk around town, you're going to be wearing this heavy pair of pants, again with armour and so on. Jeans are so much nicer to ride in, and by and large they're going to be much more protective. And that's probably the way we would go with the Freeway. If you need or want, for whatever reason, the Freeway as a suit, then go for it. It's a great combination and will not cost you an arm and a leg. The jacket costs £490, the pants cost £300. So you're going to get a good looking, comfortable, well-equipped suit for under £800. Now, in anyone's book, that's great value. And I think it represents a bit of a bargain. But for me, I'd go for the Freeway jacket and a pair of Vrocotec jeans. But then again, I do really like those jeans. If you'd like to see more Bering gear or more adventure suits, then I suggest you visit the website motorlegends.com. Okay, yep, I'll go again. Yeah. If you'd like to see more Bering gear or indeed more adventure suits, then I suggest you visit the website motorlegends.com. If you want to learn more about the Freeway suit in particular, then click on one of the links on the screen. Sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there. That will take you to the dedicated page on the website, and there you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail. You can check on availability, and obviously if you want to buy the suit there and then, you can do that. Now, when you do buy from us, we try to make the process as simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There is no delivery charge on any item of protective wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis was rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise, but we go one stage better. If you can find anybody selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that competitor's price by a full 10%. Now, there are a few terms and conditions associated with what we call our price beat, but if you are going to attempt to price beat us, I suggest you go over to our website and check out what those terms and conditions are. I can assure you they are not particularly onerous. If in the future you'd like to receive bulletins from us about new products, then if you go to the website, at the top of every page there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on that and within seconds you'll be in business. If, however, you prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, then we would be simply delighted if you wanted to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. Finally, I'd like to make mention of our fabulous little shop here at Motor Legends. We are based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station. And as I've suggested, it's a small shop. It's got a small footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £4 million of motorcycle merchandise arranged over 3 floors. Technically, that makes us the second largest motorcycle shop in the UK. But we think we are much more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're all about service, we're all about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come to see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of our delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.